Many folks may not realize the unusual events unfolding in today's tech-driven world, but I'm about to shed light on them for you. Stay tuned, as the world is evolving swiftly, and preparedness for the unexpected is crucial. I'm here to share significant insights from Jim Rickards on upcoming developments that many are unaware of. So keep watching. 1. The creation of a huge amount of both currency and debt by governments and central banks. Governments and central banks have embarked on a substantial creation of both currency and debt. The extensive money printing since 2019, initially promising and generating credit, eventually led to an excess of money chasing a limited supply of goods, resulting in inflation.
But what does it mean if $1 trillion worth of bonds show up and the banks delivering the bonds say, give us the cash? Where does the cash come from? The Fed prints it. So now you're going to expand base money by perhaps $1 trillion or more at a time when you've been pretending to reduce base money. So this completely blows up their monetary tightening.
Inflation operates independently of the supply chain when the volume of printed money surpasses the availability of goods and services. This leads to a reduction in a currency's purchasing power. In essence, economics boils down to mathematics, and increasing the money in circulation results in a proportional rise in prices. Governments now use inflation as a form of taxation on savings, bond holdings, and paychecks, finding it more favorable than taxing people directly as they receive their paychecks. This strategy becomes popular with the public, despite the noticeable effects of rising prices and diminished purchasing power. From an investment perspective, a portfolio may experience a 28% decrease if the S&P 500 index is down 20% year-to-date, coupled with an 8% increase in inflation. In response, individuals might redirect their funds towards assets that retain value, such as real estate and investments, realizing that holding cash becomes unfavorable due to diminishing purchasing power. This historical pattern is reminiscent of the extreme measures people took in the 1970s and early 1980s to prepare for rising inflation, leading the Federal Reserve to respond with excessive interest rate hikes. The response to inflation in the past involved an overreaction, ultimately halting its progression. Since the 1960s, a key goal of U.S. foreign policy has been to strategically align with either China against Russia or with Russia against China, depending on which posed the greater threat. This approach stems from the notion that two united forces are more formidable than one, simplifying the decision-making process. Jim Rickards emphasized the significance of avoiding actions that could prompt both Russia and China to align against the United States. He tweeted that the future trajectory of global power dynamics hinges on how China resolves its disagreements with the United States, with competition spanning economic, commercial, and military domains. The conflict in Ukraine has compelled nations worldwide to take sides, determining their support through trade and sanctions. The relationships forged during this period are expected to shape the world of the future. 2. International currency war. There is currently an ongoing international currency war, a phenomenon I categorize as a currency war. The first instance extended from 1921 to 1937, and two subsequent episodes occurred from 1967 to 1987. The concern lies in the potential reactions of other countries, which may involve depreciating their currencies or implementing tariffs and trade restrictions. As an illustration, a CNBC report from 2019 revealed that the central banks of the United States, the Bank of England, and the European Union were discreetly involved in a currency war. With interest rates exceptionally low, currency devaluation emerged as one of the few tools these central banks had to stimulate their economies. The ongoing monetary war lacks a clear endpoint, as competitive devaluations persist, driving a race to the bottom. Currency wars typically result in two outcomes: either people unite in response, or the entire system collapses. The lack of a logical conclusion suggests that this international monetary struggle could endure for an extended period, with the constant back and forth of competitive devaluations. The ultimate fate hinges on whether collective efforts emerge or the system faces a complete failure.
Inflation's here. We all see it. Price of gasoline, eggs, milk, butter, groceries at the store, across the board, inflation's affecting everything. And it started really in mid-2021, so here we are.
In the present, I find a noticeable absence of influential figures and strong leadership akin to individuals like John Maynard Keynes or George Shultz. Instead, I often come across individuals in leadership roles who lack the necessary stature. There seems to be a pervasive lack of awareness regarding the impending catastrophe. Given these circumstances, I am inclined to believe that a systemic collapse is a more plausible scenario. However, Since 2010, we've been actively involved in a currency war, and there is a possibility that this conflict may persist until 2025, unless the anticipated earlier collapse of the system takes place. 3. The collapse of the international monetary system. Turning to the prospect of the collapse of the international monetary system, I diverge from the notion that it signals the end of the world. Rather, I contend that it marks the conclusion of a system that has experienced breakdowns 3 times in the past 90 years. Instances of disruptions in the international monetary system are not uncommon. My perspective is further shaped by the belief that most central bank and risk management models employed on Wall Street and in global financial markets are outdated given the dynamics of the existing system. The simplicity of predicting when the system will collapse prompts a critical question about the nature of the new system that will emerge. Notably, the 5 largest American banks have not only surpassed their 2008 sizes, but also command a higher share of all banking assets, accompanied by substantially larger derivative books.
What I call supply chain 1.0 from 1989 to 2019 is broken. There will be a new supply chain. There always are. Supply chains have been around since the Bronze Age, if not earlier. But the new supply chain, what I call supply chain 2.0, will look very different than the old supply chain.
The entities deemed too big to fail in 2008 have experienced significant growth, a trajectory explained by the exponential function. According to this analysis, the current risk is 10 times greater than it was in 2008. Brace yourself for a potential collapse larger than what transpired in 2008, and it might be imminent rather than in the distant future. It's crucial to recognize that higher prices are not the cause, but rather a symptom of the impending currency collapse, as highlighted by James Rickards. 4. Closing the wealth gap. Moving on to a different aspect, there's a promising development in the closing of the wealth gap. Advancements in artificial intelligence, AI, are set to democratize wealth creation, allowing more individuals to participate. Historically, knowledge workers specializing in financial advice played a crucial role in wealth management, employing specialized techniques to grow modest financial portfolios into substantial assets. With the rapid progress of AI, these tactics employed by financial advisors will become accessible through technology, making wealth building more affordable for the general public.
And a major U.S. recession in 2023, and no one's ready for that. I mean, people talk about recession, but it's going to be worse than they think.
Millions of individuals won't require an in-depth understanding of modern portfolio theory to make their finances work for them. Much like using Apple Pay without comprehending the intricacies of near-field communication, a 2015 study by Lane suggests that advancements in technology and AI will make sophisticated financial strategies more accessible to the general public. Despite economic disparity potentially affecting voter turnout and social engagement, an optimistic outlook on narrowing wealth disparities, especially between Black and white communities, could boost the economy by $0.5 trillion by 2026. 5. The Internet's potential. After many years, society is finally grasping the true potential of the Internet. This incredible invention widens horizons, breaks down borders, ends segregation, fosters togetherness, encourages collaboration, and provides assistance. Real revolutions, such as the Arab Spring in multiple countries, have been ignited by the Internet, dismantling systems of mass control. In the age of the Internet, even the voiceless find expression, leading to a global unification that could potentially challenge existing systems. 6. The fall of exaggerated consumerism. We've been deceived into relentless consumption, pursuing every new product, from the latest automobile to the newest iPhone and top brands. Contrary to popular belief, many individuals now realize the fallacy of this approach. Current trends, including low consumerism, slow living, and slow food, demonstrate a shift away from overspending. People are driving less, opting for secondhand items, and sharing resources, challenging the exaggerated consumerism that businesses once thrived on. 7. Evolution in entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurial landscape is undergoing a transformation with a surge in startups. Hundreds of business owners, envisioning multi-billion-dollar concepts, have converted their garages into offices. This shift in the entrepreneurship model reflects a departure from traditional norms, signaling a dynamic era of innovation and creativity.
But yeah, you can, in the old days you have to line up around the block, and maybe it was raining, you're standing there in the rain waiting for your turn to get up to the tower. Now you can be in line at McDonald's, with your cell phone, and just a couple hits, QR code, and boom, $10 million is gone.
The pursuit of an investor and securing funding has traditionally been the driving force behind entrepreneurship, akin to achieving victory in the World Cup or the Super Bowl. However, Once funding is obtained, a shift occurs. Entrepreneurs often find themselves reverting to an employee-like role. This transition may introduce conflicting goals among team members, shifting the focus from the initial vision to monetary concerns. The perpetual nature of this money-seeking paradigm has led to the demise of promising startups. To navigate this, a different approach is imperative, and many savvy individuals are already implementing innovative strategies. 8. The rise of collaboration. The realization has dawned on many that going it alone is futile. The notion of every individual for themselves is losing its appeal, prompting a shift towards collaboration. Taking a moment to reflect on the absurdity of 7 billion people on the same planet drifting apart, the rising trend emphasizes the need to acknowledge and engage with neighbors. The evolving landscape is steering towards a sharing and collaborative economy, signaling a new direction focused on cooperation, sharing, assistance, and community. 9. AI-optimized manufacturing. The rapid and effective application of cutting-edge technology to address global challenges is a source of inspiration. This progress, particularly in AI-optimized manufacturing, promises quicker production of higher quality goods at a reduced cost. By 2025, production lines will continuously optimize output and product quality through data-driven processes, reducing manufacturing waste by up to 50%. Major enterprise R&D companies, the investment community, and entrepreneurs are rallying around the development and implementation of solutions that will yield significant advancements in addressing critical global issues over the next 5 years. Despite the heroism and tenacity displayed by individual nations, history will judge us collectively, recognizing both achievements and the world's shortcomings in addressing pressing challenges.
I see the creation of what I call a college of nations, basically a group of like-minded countries that will continue to trade with each other, will rely on each other for outsourcing.
It is imperative that we, as a global society, persistently raise awareness of pressing concerns through platforms like the World Economic Forum. Simultaneously, we must acknowledge and champion technological and innovative opportunities that can swiftly and effectively address these challenges. The ongoing developments may be startling for those who haven't contemplated them, yet they are undeniably unfolding. Preparation for this evolving environment requires a lateral, adaptive, and creative mindset. Considering the current trends, a peripheral and integrative perspective is crucial, emphasizing the dynamic interactions among technological, political, economic, social, and demographic elements. Silent awakenings to the absurdities of our cultural norms are occurring, prompting a shift in awareness. Imagine that everything considered thus far is anticipated when observing these new behaviors. In my opinion, ensuring outrageous prosperity, creativity, and productivity in the next decade demands a commitment to compounding oneself, cultivating knowledge, talents, viewpoints, networks, and assets with a steadfast long-term perspective throughout the 2020s. And that's it for this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching till the end. Before you go, make sure to like and subscribe and click the notification bell to trigger YouTube's algorithm and see more of our videos on your homepage. Thanks for watching and see you next time for more interesting videos like this.